So I saw the movie My Old Ass in theaters last night and really enjoyed it. It's a really good movie, and I've got some critiques of it, but I'll save those for the end and just talk about some of the things that I really liked about it. I saw it in a small movie house, and there was at least 10 other people in there, and everybody seemed to really enjoy it. So I thought that was good. People of all ages in there all seemed to enjoy the movie. I could tell by their responses as we were walking out and the responses during the movie. So some really good things about the movie. Aubrey Plaza, I was expecting to be amazing, and honestly, some of my critiques or criticisms are more about my expectation than the movie itself. But Aubrey Plaza was amazing, and I don't think I've ever seen her in a movie before. I'd seen her in like late night shows, doing talk shows before, and just related to her. I thought, well, she seems like she's before her time. Like I'm Gen X myself, and feel like uh, Gen Z people are maybe more accepting of my types of views. Although personally, I feel like I may be more ahead of my time. That it'd be another few generations before people where we get to a generation where I would really fit in, if ever. But she seems like the same type of person, so a very good person to cast for a Gen Z person in the future. Because even though she might be Gen X too, or a millennial, she's had more of a Gen Z perspective or attitude, which I can relate to. And I was also excited about seeing a mushroom trip depicted positively. I always want to encourage people depicting these spiritual plant experiences positively, and that was great. It was well presented, and it was definitely appreciated that. Do have one criticism of that though, that there's just a phrase. Apparently, they've never taken mushrooms before when they take them, and they make the comment, "Nothing bad can happen on mushrooms." Well, usually it doesn't. Lots of great things happen on mushrooms, but I know at least one person who didn't survive a mushroom trip. So that's not entirely accurate, and it would be nice just to have somebody say, "Well, that's not true," or something like that, since they didn't really have anything depicted in the movie to show the counterbalance to that idea. But obviously, just an idea they'd heard from other people and decided to repeat in the movie, and not necessarily the best message to put out there. Be prepared, enjoy mushrooms, and be prepared for educate yourself or get some advice and some assistance, and make sure your environment is safe and all that stuff. So just wanted to put that out there. Now, as far as my critiques of the movie, again, part of it was because of expectation. I saw Big the day before, and I thought they have a similar theme of your older and younger self connecting. Um, Big is kind of a masterpiece, so it's kind of hard to say. Although I've seen people say this is a future classic, it's not that good, I don't think, and I don't think that's just nostalgia. Although Big has a lot of nostalgia in it, I don't think that's just nostalgia for Big being a good movie, or for my childhood, as much as it's just a really well-made movie that hits a lot of the same and similar themes. Just does a great job of it. And this movie is not claiming to be or trying to be, Gen Z's Big. It's not the same movie in any way, just got a similar theme to it. And it doesn't have as much in it as Big does for the topics it addresses. But it's a great movie. It's interesting. It's more focused on love and living in the moment and things like that, that are great messages, and it's well portrayed in this movie. All the acting is really great. Everybody's a great actor, and I really appreciate that. There's just kind of an underlying message, or even a misunderstanding I got from the preview. There's a scene in the preview that also, when it occurs in the movie, I kind of misunderstood it. And it gets at what some of my complaint about the movie is. One, I wanted Aubrey Plaza to be in it a lot more, because she's just such a great character. Her humor is fantastic, her acting and her emotions are fantastic, and just wanted more of her because she was really good. Also, I wanted to see something from her life in the future. But really, once I thought about it and how I kind of misunderstood something in the preview, there wasn't so much of a reason for that. In the preview, there's a scene where she has to hang up the phone. She's calling from the future, and there's some sirens in the background. She's like, "Basement, basement." So I'm thinking she lives in some dystopian future that she doesn't want to talk too much about. One other clue to that is she says nobody can have three kids in the future, or nobody's allowed to have three kids in the future, which again suggests like a major change in society. But after thinking about this, after seeing the movie, I realized that's probably just like a tornado siren. Basement, basement is probably from a tornado siren, not an air raid. Things haven't changed that much in America. Now, honestly, that's kind of part of my complaint. Is this character, the main character, is not that relatable. She's already successfully had sex with all the girls in her town. Her family owns a farm, and she owns a motorboat, and that's not that relatable. But the idea that when she grows up 20 years in the future, things don't really change that much, or society doesn't really change that much, is kind of unfortunate or disappointing. But again, the only reason I was looking forward to what's going to happen 20 years in the future, or seeing something from her future self's life, is because I kind of misunderstood that one bit of audio. It's a hurricane siren instead of a air raid siren, and it's kind of like, well, we don't need to know as much. Everything stays the same. And that's a little bit too privileged, I guess, of a take on stuff. Is that why should everything stay the same? Why shouldn't there be more change? And so it's kind of hard to relate to her as such a privileged person, but at the same time, um, maybe you're not really supposed to. It's just something that people can relate to the themes of, and that's just happens to be her life setting. But because I was expecting it to kind of show something about the future, I was a little disappointed about that. But again, that's my expectations and my expectations of comparing it to Big, but which is a very fall movie, and this is a very summer movie. It was very good. Thanks. Go see it.